Carol, you've got 5 tips for nice girls looking to finally take charge of their lives, and I want to tick through them. They include for know what you want, believe you deserve it, communicate directly and concisely, be prepared for pushback, because you're going to get that, and put yourself first. So if you're able to do that, to know what you want, how do you go get it without being perceived as really pushy or rude?
Well, I think that, what's really important for people to understand is that we're not suggesting that nice isn't necessary. Behavior that is nice is simply not sufficient, as Lois described it. And so it's really about being assertive for what you need and at the same time keeping in mind the needs of other people. So it's, in my frame of reference, always a negotiation.
Most of us think of negotiation as what I define as a big N, capital N negotiation. Formal. You're all dressed up and you know you're negotiating. So you're negotiating for compensation. You're negotiating for a car. You're negotiating to buy a condo. But I believe that as important as the big N or formal negotiations are the little N or informal negotiations that happen every day, day after day. Let me ask a question. Does gender matter? Show of hands. How many think that gender has anything to do with it? 40 years of social science research shows that women are excellent at negotiating when it becomes on behalf of others. But when we're negotiating on behalf of ourselves, the results are not as good. So will focus today on negotiating for things that make us more effective, things that we need for ourselves, and I would argue that those also make our companies more effective. Because people who are satisfied, they're getting what they need from their companies at work, are also more likely to be loyal and to stay with those companies and to give more than they would have otherwise. So again, it's a win-win-win. If you are the kind of person that really has trouble advocating for yourself, you put everyone else's needs ahead of your own, okay? And there are reasons for that. If you got a book, you'll read that women are socialized to be nice girls. Okay, don't brag, don't take the lead, sit back, wait, don't speak until spoken to, all of those kinds of childhood messages. And I'm not the psychologist, my co-author, Lois Frankel, is a psychologist, but I've learned enough to be dangerous about this stuff. And I think a lot of people get those messages and they internalize them. And those messages stay with them for their adult lives. And so you need to think about, what am I going to do about those kinds of messages? How am I going to stop that noise in my head that says to me, no, don't do it. You're going to make the person unhappy. Okay? So think about, the solution is, think about how others will be benefited if you advocate for yourself. So let's just take compensation, again, as an example. It's an easy one, everyone likes it. Everyone has compensation issues, all right? We're all, generally underpaid for what we believe, the value that we bring, okay? Think about it, not just I deserve a raise, but how will my family benefit when I go in there and advocate for what is the right thing, okay? What will it allow me to do for my children or for my husband or, whether it's whatever it is. And that puts you in a different mind frame. You don't feel as selfish. You feel as though you're doing good for you and for others that matter a lot to you. How do you get in the game? You know, you're all in a very male-dominated industry, and how do you make your voice heard when it might be easier for the guys just to talk? So again, you need to think about, how am I going to do that? One of the things that if you don't have allies, if you don't know people, that you can really do at an appropriate time is to say, you know, I think I have something to add, and then pause. Silence is sometimes a very effective way of getting people to pay attention to you, because the research again shows that if you pause, people think you're some kind of a genius, that something brilliant is happening up there. And so I have no problem with having people think that. And then there's an opportunity then to raise, you know, to put your idea out there. The other thing that I definitely advise, to think about this in a situation, but if people talk over you, have you ever had a situation where you're in a room and you contribute an idea and it doesn't go anywhere? And then some guy 3 down has the same idea that you just had. And all of a sudden it's like, genius! So I think, you know, at that point, I do not let that kind of thing go by. I say it in a nice way, I'm so glad you were able to restate my idea. Or something, humor helps, you know what I mean? But don't let that happen. Because if you're not getting credit for your ideas, then, you know, you're taking up space in the room. And you don't want to be taking up space. You want to be in a situation where your ideas are credited to you.
Thank you so much. The book is Nice Girls Just Don't Get It. Lois Frankel, Carol Frohlinger.